Jeremy Miner's NEPQ Inner Circle program. Is it really worth the money? In this video, we're going to go over my honest thoughts of someone who's actually been through the full 6 months of 7th level's NEPQ Inner Circle program, what I thought was good, what I thought could have been better, and my honest, unbiased thoughts. My name is Brian Choi, and if you're new to this channel, I was the number 2 closer at 7th level. And in my first full year in sales, I was making 228K USD a year in commissions. So in this channel, we go over how to get better sales, how to make more sales without getting better sales to increase your commissions. So make sure you subscribe and let's get to the video. Let's first go into why did I buy the program in the first place? What made me want to do it? So at that time, I was just freshly getting into full-time selling. I was about 2 weeks into my full-time selling journey. And at the time, I somehow got lucky and closed a deal that made me $2,000 in commissions. But it was just a pure luck. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just pitched it because I thought the guy had the money. And then he bought like a 20K, 25K program. And then I made 2K. But after that, I didn't make any commissions because I kept getting, let me think about it, getting tons of technical questions. And surely enough, I couldn't close deals. And I found myself in the bottom of the leaderboard at the company. So there were about 25 reps in that business, and I was number 23. So I was pretty much down there. And so as I was doing that, I was in a group chat with some of the reps on that offer, and one of the guys was actually top 3 on that offer. And so we kept talking, and I was kind of getting under his wings and learning different things. I'm like, dude, I want to kind of sell like him. And he's like top 3. So how did you do it? And so I found out that he actually went through this program by 7th level. I've heard of Jeremy. I've knew of the ecosystem. And the Inner Circle program, I've heard of it as well. And now that I'm in full-time selling, I heard of that. I'm like, okay. So maybe I should get into that. However, I did not get into the program right away because I'm like, you know what? I'm 2 weeks in. Maybe I'll just wait like 2 more weeks and like wait for the whole full month and let's see how this goes. Maybe an objection you have within yourself. And by the way, this is an unbiased opinion because I'm no longer with 7th level. So I'm like a civilian, right? But I was taking a walk one day. And I stopped in the middle of the road and I literally thought to myself, well, that's fucking stupid that I wait. Why don't I just learn the right skills and model off your success earlier? And what if I could get to my goals sooner? What if I could go beyond my goals? And so I was kind of thinking that it was about like April or so. And there were like cherry blossoms kind of like going down in the streets. And then I pulled out my phone and then I messaged the guy that my company, hey man, can you make an intro with one of their sales guys? And so he put me in a group chat. And I think the same day I got a response because I was in Korea at the time. It was like super late US time, but they have some sales rep in Australia and the rep happened to be in Australia. And so he's like, yeah, man, what's going on? And then we chatted for a little bit. Yeah, can we hop on a call? Perfect. And I think I just went home and we hopped on a call right away. It was like it happened like that soon. We hopped on that call and I was hoping the rep would take me through an actual sales process, but he did not. Maybe because I was a referral. So maybe he just thought I was a laydown, which I was. So I hopped in the call. He didn't really sell me. I was on there for like 15 minutes and I bought after. But I didn't have any objections. I just had some questions because I knew I was going to buy something. I was just deciding between should I do the Inner Circle program, which is a group program, or should I do one-on-one with Marco or Matt? So I was kind of deciding between that. Matt Ryder, Marco Cortese, who was also a part of their company. Matt was. Marco is still at the time of this recording. And so I'm like, what should I do? Yeah, what if I do the one-on-one? Then I was like, you know what? Eventually I went with the group program because I'm like, why not? And so I did that. And that's why I got in because more so than not making enough money, what hurt me more was not being where I wanted to be in terms of my skill set and my potential. And if you're listening to this, then you're probably like me where you're quite competitive. And I didn't want to suck. I hated that. I want to be the best. So that's why I was like, you know what? I want to be the best. Teach me how to do it. I'll do it. And it's not like I had a ton of money at the time either. As you can imagine, I was making like around $2,000 a month. All the money I had to my name at that time was about $3,500. So about 3K in my PayPal account, like $500 in my bank account. I couldn't do the full pay, obviously, because it's a bit of a hefty investment. And it was the biggest investment that I ever made when it comes to the bank coaching programs at that time. And so there's quite a bit. I wasn't scared at all, weirdly enough. I think that's the weird part. It's like, for me, I'm not scared on sales calls anymore. Like I may have a bit of like a nerve, but I was like, oh, what if this doesn't work? I didn't have any of that. I was just like, dude, I hate sucking. I made the intention that I want to get better and I commit to it. This is the next steps. Let's take the next steps. So I had about 3K left in my PayPal balance. I was like, okay, so what's the lowest payment plan I have? That's at 3K a month. Okay, cool. In my bank account, I don't have the money, but my PayPal, I can do it. So the guy sends me a PayPal invoice, I pay, and then we get straight to work. All right, so let's go into the results that I got from it, the deliverables, what I thought was good, what could have been better, because there's a lot of program reviews out there, and they're like, yeah, I think this program is good, but they haven't really implemented the program for quite a bit of time, right? Which is fine. But in this review, I think it's pretty cool because I've actually gone through the entire 6 months. And there's different options in Inner Circle. I think there's like 6 months and 12 options, and God knows what they're doing these days. But at the time, I went through a 6 month option. And the results I got was this. So before I got into the program, I was making about 2 grand a month, 2.7K a month. After 1 month of implementing it, I got to 8.1K a month in commissions. Okay. And then after that, what happened was I got recruited by Matt Ryder, who's the CEO of Sales Sniper, which is a sales agency. And he's like, hey, dude, how do you feel about selling for a Sales Sniper account? I was like, let's fucking do it. And then I got in a call with Anthony Vazzari. Shout out to Anthony. Anthony at the time was managing a lot of the accounts in Sales Sniper. So he had done an interview with him. And then he's like, yeah, dude, so these are the commission structures. These are the price points, da. And in my head, I'm just like, because I used to sell for a US account. So it was US dollars I was getting paid in. And the price point was higher. It's like 10, 20K price point. The program I was about to sell is Aussie dollars, which is the currency is like a lot lower. Everything is the same. It's like 1/3 the commission per sale. Because the average commission per sale, I was making about like $900 per sale, 800, $900. And then from here, US dollars. And on this new offer, I was going to get paid about $300 US per sale commission. And so I'm like, that's less. But I didn't even hesitate because I'm like, dude, I want to learn from these guys. These are the best. So at that, like on the Zoom call, I texted my previous sales manager, hey, listen, I'm going to another company. Thanks for all you've done for me. How much time do you need before I jet out? Long story short. And so I did that. I got out of the other company. I got into this company. And even though my commission structure is a lot lower, still that month I made 7.5K a month in US dollars in commissions around then. Okay. So it basically didn't change that much, even though my commission structure was a lot lower. And then I became the #1 rep on that account. I was outselling the other 3 reps combined by myself. And then about a month or two after that, I was brought on to 7th level to sell for 7th level, which to me, I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome. And I got to 15K a month, US dollars a month in commissions after about 6 months since starting Inner Circle. So it's cool because not only Inner Circle got me the financial results of like the skills and the commissions, but also gave me opportunities in terms of, like I was getting exposure to some of these people who have good opportunities, such as Matt Ryder, Anthony Vazzari, so on and so forth. That's what happened from about 2K to 2.7K a month in commissions to about $15,000 a month in commissions about 6 months after being in Inner Circle. And then it's pretty cool because I also did a case study interview with Jeremy. So Jeremy interviewed me on what went well for me in order to get to that point. So that was pretty cool. Now let's go over the deliverables. And again, things may have changed, but at that time in 2022, when I was going through Inner Circle, these are the deliverables in terms of what do you get for the money. So in terms of like the features, you get the course content, which is the NEPQ platform, the training videos. Jeremy goes over, hey, here's how to do it. Here's what you ask, so on and so forth. And also you have the coaching, which is you have the weekly group coaching calls. At that time, I didn't get any one-on-ones. I think these days they're doing like one-on-one sometimes. But I had the group coaching calls with Jeremy and Marco and Matt and some of the assistant coaches. So we have the group coaching calls and you get the Facebook group. And also you get the script vaults, which is a vault of scripts that Jeremy's written with his clients that he's already written out for different industries. So there'd be high ticket, insurance, dating offer, make money offer, fitness offer, all that. Most of the industries is already there. What I liked about the program, what I thought was good is the fact that obviously Jeremy is a master at his craft. Jeremy's really fucking good. When people hear that, they're like, yeah, of course, Jeremy's good. But when you actually get coached by him and he like points things out, for example, Jeremy at the time was doing the script role-playing sessions where you do a role play of the script and Jeremy critiques you. And also the call breakdown sessions where you can bring a recorded sales call and Jeremy breaks it down for you. And as you're going through that, sometimes I'll bring the call to Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy, so I got this think about objections. I'm not sure what went. Can we skip to like minute 20? And Jeremy's like, let's listen back from the top because that's probably something you did early in the call. And I was like, I want to listen to minute 20, but you know a lot better sales than I do. So, okay, let's do that. And then Jeremy's pointing out all the things I was doing wrong that was causing like the objection to happen in the first place as an example. So Jeremy would be like, yeah, so you know how you were saying this, the tonality was this, the prospect shut down because of that. And that's why they didn't open up. You should have asked this question. So he was in the, I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know that was going on. And then he shows you what to do. And so from that, I was like, oh, let me just kind of tweak that. And as I was doing that, I also did the script role-playing sessions with Jeremy, where I'm role-playing specific part of the script. I role-play, A big focus in the inner circle program is a lot of the tonality. And that made a big difference in my game because as I was doing that, I realized before I was getting tons of technical questions and think about objections, and I was getting better at tonality and getting more deeper into the pain, not just saying surface area, then I was able to get a lot less of those objections. And if I did get that, I was able to overcome some of that, as opposed to before I couldn't overcome any objections. And that's a huge part. Jeremy's really fucking good at what he does. And also there's the coaching calls with Marco. At the time, Marco is running the objection handling training calls. And the thing with Marco is that he's so fucking good at objection handling and he's so good at sales that for me, I had a bit of a hard time understanding what he was saying. Not just because of his accent, because he does have a bit of a thick of an accent. The way he explained things to me, I just couldn't quite grasp the concepts. It's not because Marco's a bad teacher, and he really goes beyond and far for his students because he'll stay on for the coaching calls a lot later at times, and then he'll try to make sure everyone's all good. And he genuinely cares about training people and helping people get better. He really does. But for me, I just had a hard time understanding it. There's other people who could perfectly understand like what he was trying to say and the concept he was teaching. For me, I just had a hard time. But I do strongly believe that Marco is such a good objection handler because the way he handles objections is he has a huge leadership frame, meaning that he doesn't do a lot of the analogies like the fancy reframes and things like that. He's like, oh brother, if you don't do anything, how's anything supposed to change? So how can we fix it? He kind of does it like that. He literally leads the call. And I've been on sales calls with Marco when Marco is selling prospects. And the what you see in the recordings and what you see in the actual being in that sales call itself is a totally different energy. I remember there's this one call that Marco was selling. I was on there as well. Maybe I'll talk about it in a different video. But it's hard to explain. The way he was selling, it just felt like even though I wasn't the one being sold, he just carries so much presence even on the Zoom screen. But if I could understand the concept better, it's probably on me. If I could have understand the concepts better, I think it would have been even better. And, there's the assistant coaches who did role plays. I didn't go to too many of them, but I did go to some of the role play sessions with Dan Van, for example, January Hopkins, phenomenal guys. They care about the students, very good at what they do. But the biggest ROI I got from the program was the coaching sessions with Matt Ryder. So Matt Ryder was at that time was a CEO of 7th Level. He was making over 100K a month in commissions. And he was doing the coaching sessions. He was some doing the role play sessions, but later on he started doing something called a sales maximization session. So what those are there's different ways to make more money in sales. One is getting better on the calls itself, like the questions you're asking, tonality you're using, objection handling, so on and so forth. And there's sales process, which is what can you do outside of the sales call, before or after, in order to help you make more money. As an example, increasing your show-up rate. Or if you have not that many calls in your calendar, if you have empty space in your calendar, what do? Are you just watching YouTube, complaining about the leads, doing random role plays? Or are you creating opportunities for yourself to make more sales? So that includes such as doing outbounds, booking calls into your own calendar, calling no-shows, calling no-sales, people who didn't buy, but following up so they do buy. How to upsell people, how to get referrals, those kind of things. I learned just a lot, and how to problem solve my sales. And I just learned like a lot from Matt. And the way he sells is exactly how I wanted to sell at that time. I still believe Matt is, even though Jeremy made more money in sales in terms of commissions, like the sheer numbers, I still believe, and Jeremy's incredibly what he good at sales. I see Matt as the best salesperson that I know. Jeremy is extremely persuasive, but Matt is just very holistic. He's just an all-around aspect of game. Because of that, I really consider him the best salesperson that I know. And the way he sells is a lot more conversational than I found. Now, different people have different things they resonate with and different ways of selling and different personalities they gravitate towards, right? So Jeremy, for example, I don't really talk like Jeremy, right? He's like in his like 40s or 50s, white male from like Mississippi, Arkansas, and he does like dad jokes, and those are hilarious. He's incredibly good at what he does, and just the way he talks and just the way he sells, I just had a hard time resonating with it. I just took some bits and pieces and just kind of like try to make it work for me. But when I saw Matt sell, like he cusses, he does like jokes that could be considered quote unquote politically incorrect at times, but it's funny, it's just playful, and it just seemed more conversational. I just resonated with him more, the way he sells. And so when I saw that, I'm like, man, I want to sell exactly like that. So at one point in a circle, I think in the last like 2 or 3 months, only sessions I was going to was Matt's session once a week. I wasn't even going to Marco's session. I wasn't even going to Jeremy's session. Only going to Matt's session because I got so much out of it. And so, unfortunately, Matt's no longer with 7th Level, but at the time, I'm glad I had the opportunity to learn from Matt during the capacity because he's just a phenomenal salesperson. A lot of things that, especially in the high ticket space, that is not taught, which is in the high ticket space, all you're taught is like ask better questions, handle objections, ask tonality, better tonality, and that's pretty much it. But not the holistic part, because half of my income actually came from half of my commissions didn't just come from the one cold closes. It came from like the holistic things such as referrals, outbound, and follow-ups and upsells and renewals. So if I didn't do that, my income would have been half, which means I would have been losing out on about 100 to 120K USD a year, which is kind of frightening if you think about it. So final thought, is Inner Circle a perfect program? No, there's no such thing as a perfect program. And I do believe it's not really the program that works, but it's the person, it's you that makes it work. Because when I was going through the Inner Circle program, I'd have people that ask me, dude, how'd you make so many more sales, even though they're in the same program, right? Hey, how'd you do that? Like, what did you do? We have access to the exact same people, exact same information. So why is it some people get better results and some people don't? The obvious thing we all hear, the cliche thing is like, oh, you know, someone who puts in the more work and someone who commits, so on and so forth. But that's pretty much it. I think I tried harder than most people because, you know, during my selling hours, I was just going out and selling, implementing what I was learning. And outside of my selling hours, I actually studied it. So I wasn't just asking the questions. I was like, why am I asking this question? What's the purpose behind it? And so it's crazy to me because when I started selling for 7th level and I was selling to salespeople, they'll go through the sales program. And after 3 months, they still don't know why they're asking the question on the script. They don't know. They haven't even memorized the script. I'm like, what are you doing? What's going on? It's been 3 months, you know, like, or like 6 months. I'm like, what is going on? People just don't try hard enough. I'm not saying I'm like the end all be all, like I know everything, but I'm not that smart. You know, it's not like I'm not have the gift of the gap. I'm actually introverted. English is my second language. I'm not perfect. You know, I don't have the best tonality. I'm not the best at objection handling. I just tried harder in terms of not just like working more hours, but I'm just like, okay, let me actually study this. What am I trying to do from this question? What are different ways I can ask the same question in different ways in case the prospect doesn't understand the question? So I actually studied it and practiced it in repetition over and over and over. And because of that, I believe I got more ROI from the program than most people, I said. So whenever you go into a program, here's what I realized. When I was first buying coaching programs and buying courses, I would hope, man, I hope this works. I hope I get this result just like everybody else, which is normal, right? That's why we buy things. That's why we buy courses and things like that. But what happened was I was hoping, and that's a dangerous part because I'm putting the ownership and responsibility into a third party that's not me. And what are you doing there? You're giving your power away to something other than yourself. I didn't get that much results from the program. I'm disappointed. I'm like, why is this not working? It's working for everybody else. They're making money. Why am I not? I just get in this downward spiral, especially for us trying to make money online. And I actually wanted to quit making money online. I'm like, dude, this is not working. And I was like, sat down in my room, just about to give up. But I'm glad I didn't. And then when I realized, because these days, whenever I buy programs, I drop quite a bit of money on program, like whenever I buy it. And it could be like 5K, 10K, 20K, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter the price point. But these days I go in and I hope this works. I don't hope. I just simply make the intention, you know what? This is my goal. This is what I want. And these are the steps I need to take. Let's go take the steps. And there's no expectation or no attachment to it. So that's all I'm doing. I make the intention and I make it work. And if I'm slacking, that's on me. If I'm not staying consistent, that's on me. What can I do to understand the concept better? What can I do to implement it better? And then really actually thinking this through and actually putting it into action. And so this is what worked for me. Whenever I buy coaching programs, whenever I buy courses, I really try harder and actually study it. And then I make it work. The ownership is on me, right? I believe that, you know, obviously from like the course creator standpoint, they should take responsibility in making the course better, but also as the customer, as the client, you know, it helps that we take responsibility in making it work for ourselves. So responsibility is on both parts. That's how I feel like it. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, smash the like button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.